Hello, everybody from Dell Technologies World in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Dan Romanelli with the OEM Technologies Solutions team, and I am here today with Josh Toffler, CEO of Fornetix. Super exciting partner for Dell. Joshua,
I'm super excited too.
awesome. I'm glad you're excited. Joshua, why don't you start? Tell us a little bit about Fornetix, and my understanding is you have a great origin story. So tell us about the origin story of Fornetix.
Yeah, so I mean, we're a company that likes to talk about things like zero trust, ICAM, and ABAC, and I'll unpack those later. Our origin story is really important. Our CTO and one of our founders, he was in the Army. He was an Army intelligence and infantry officer, and he was trying to rekey a satellite on top of a building while taking shots from the enemy. And he said, "There's got to be an effing better way to do this," and that's actually the origin story of the company. Is he left the military and he created what Fornetix is today.
That is awesome. So I'm going to create a technology that maybe would have saved my life and
Yeah,
saved
exactly.
a lot of other people doing really dangerous stuff. That is great. So so tell us a little more about Fornetix, what your offering is, what the solution is.
Sure.
Let's
So
get into
I said
that.
a bunch of buzzwords, right? We all love them. Zero trust is probably the most important one in that conversation. So what we do is we create a foundational element that we call ABAC, so attribute-based access control, and that's a lot of words, and most people don't know what they mean, right? But it's very simple. Everyone does that every day, right? So we're here in Las Vegas. We all have hotel rooms, and we're all using key cards to get into those hotel rooms. So that's an attribute, right? And adding that to your identity is a very important thing, because we can then add other things like you can only come in on Tuesdays, Dan, and if you come in on Wednesday, your badge isn't going to work, and you get to open the door, and we're going to send a security
I would
officer.
love to only work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so I like where you're going with this.
So and we're going to send a security officer to ask why I stand here on Wednesday, right?
Right.
So that's basically the foundation of what we're trying to do. The more attributes everyone has, the more qualified you get to be as Dan.
Yep.
In life.
Great. So tell us about the relationship with Dell and the power of Fornetix and Dell, 1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah, so some people know this. I used to work for Dell, so yeah, I do have an affinity towards the company, but we've gone well beyond what people consider like the engineered solutions with OEM, and we've done a full RMA program. So what we do is we worked with Dell to create a program so that if one of our hardware appliances breaks, Dell sends a new one within 24 hours, and the customer just gets to keep the old one and throw it away. So we don't have to worry about like all the details of what happened. Did a hard drive break? Did a power supply fail? We don't care. If it breaks, email Dell. They'll send you a new one in 24 hours. And I think that's one of the most interesting things that we've done and separates us from our competitors.
Tell us about 5G and computing at the edge and Fornetix play in that space.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we work as, the easiest way to explain it is an aggregator. So when all these new 5G towers are going up and all these private 5G networks are being established, there's a problem with how many connections can be made. So these towers are taking 50,000 concurrent connections, and they can't handle it. So what we do is we aggregate that in between the tower and the core of the 5G, and we say, okay, you asked 50,000 of the same question. How about we just ask one question on your behalf and then answer those 50,000 questions? And that's a huge thing when you start thinking about how many things are asking questions out there.
So is that a security? Is the value in that security, or is the value in that speed? Does it just make the whole thing go faster?
So it's a little bit about security, but it's mostly about speed.
Yeah.
It's about making things actually be 5G.
Excellent. So another topic near and dear to my heart, quantum computing. Tell us about Fornetix.
Really, is that real?
No, not at all. I don't even know what it is. You're going to tell me right
now. So quantum computing is a really interesting thing as well. So when you think about quantum computing, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's going to replace supercomputers," and the answer is absolutely not. It's going to create another path for answers. So we were recently with another company at a conference talking about what does that mean in common terms. So you think of an athlete. An athlete, has so much tape about them and how they run, how they move, how they catch. Yeah, and today supercomputers are used to figure out when are they going to get injured, right? Because the gait of their run changes. Well, so a supercomputer may take 2 to 3 weeks to answer that question. Quantum can take like 2 minutes to answer that question because it can do all the permutations at once. So what we do is we take that and we embed that in our solution to allow for that to be secured in that answer.
That is really cool. So I was watching, this is pertinent, I was watching a documentary recently on the New England Patriots, and they were talking with Julian Edelman, and he talked about this one play where I'd never heard the term before. He said he cut outside of his base, and he said it was bad technique, and he knew he was going to get hurt before he got hurt. That's the sort of thing that your technology would capture.
And it creates all these other questions like, the athletes were saying, well, maybe I don't want a coach to know that I might blow my Achilles out, because they're athletes, they're professionals, right? Yeah. So it's an interesting dynamic of a conversation that we were having of, we can now answer this question within minutes, but do people really want to know?
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're not out making the world a safer, more secure place, what do you do for fun, Josh?
Well, besides traveling, I love scuba diving, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a little kid. But obviously, I didn't do that. So my favorite thing to do is actually go scuba diving because it is a different world.
Why don't we double back for 1 second? Tell us a little more, just overview about Fornetix. When you started, how many employees, kind of scale of the company?
So we're not a very big company. We're just about 47 people today. We started back in 2013, and the company since then has created 16 patents globally around our technology, and we're very focused on serving the U.S. military and federal government. Almost everyone in our company has a military background, and more specifically is cleared to get into work in those facilities.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I just think that the expertise of Fornetix, your security software and solutions underpinned by Dell Technologies server and client products is just a winning solution. And really 100%. Excited about the relationship, and hope we have some great conversations over the next couple of days.
Thank you.
Thank you.